learning those things. And as this evolved, I thought for sure this work would be a testimony and a celebration of my becoming a mother. Please have a seat. Welcome. And that didn't happen. So it became an artwork that now covers about 4,000 square feet from museums and fine art installation spaces, contemporary art places. And that work has invited women from all over the world to come into my studio and have their own process. Many women come in and are on their knees. Of the baby blankets made entirely out of syringes and crochet, or I had thousands of one-by-one alcohol swabs with my blood on them that I hand-stitched. Very comfy couch, and they sat there and wept. And I would make them tea, and I would say, take the time that you need. I'm here in the other room, working. Be who you need to be in this space, and know that I'm here to support you. And the confessions started coming. I had 6 miscarriages, and then my daughter was born. I was a woman from the Caribbean that writes me constantly and is lovely. 20 years ago, she discovered she couldn't have children, and she never processed it. Luckily, she was with her best friend in my studio, and she began to cry and didn't stop for 8 hours because she had gotten used to people telling her how lucky she is that she didn't have children, and how free, and to make art, and to be this and that, and all the things that they perhaps were missing in their lives, but they never recognized her own grief. So that's what I am doing currently. I'm building this art installation, and I'm very blessed because it seems that there's no other high art, fine artwork done that we've found anywhere in the world about in vitro fertilization. It's a new enough scientific practice, medical practice, that it seems there's nothing else out there. And most certainly there's nothing speaking to women so intimately to invite them in and begin a conversation about their own mournings, their own griefs. So that is the work. And as a sidebar, there's also, how many have seen the film What the Bleep Do We Know? Have any of you seen that film? So that producer in Hollywood has created 30 feature films, and she's made a film about the work about my art installation. And so with that and a book I'm writing with a Johns Hopkins professor, it's becoming a movement around the world. So, and I'm here to serve that and you all in this conversation, because it's a silent conversation that's really isolating and not been had. So that's why I'm able to serve you and be given this wonderful platform by Dr. Robbi, which I'm incredibly grateful. And it's not about me. It's about how are you a testimony, a living testimony of change in your community. Okay? Sound good? So what I'd like to do is we're going to discover what we're going to do in here today. This is a conversation. So what I'd like to do is, if you can grab a pencil and pieces of paper, I'm going to ask you a few questions, and we're just going to move through some work to play together. And it's a very serious topic. I want you to know this is very serious, okay? So we're not going to have any fun at all because, you know, by golly, it's about infertility, and we got to be real serious about this, right? No, that's not the case. Oh my gosh, you're going to make me nervous.
No.
No, it doesn't make me nervous. Hold on. Oh, is that live? He's doing video. I didn't know. All right, that's funny. That's a goofball. So, all right, hold on. Away from the microphone, from the speaker. So I'd like to ask you first to just take a moment and really contemplate what is a great pain? What is a great pain that the speaker is nodding? What is a great pain that exists in your life that perhaps you've not had an opportunity to move through yet, or you're still contemplating? It's a query, something that hurts your heart, something that moves you, something that that just edges on your consciousness and keeps gnawing a little bit at who you are, and is perhaps an obstacle, is something that just isn't working yet.
It can be both the surrounding also, or the environment also.
Say again?
It can be both the surrounding also.
Yes.
Or the environment also.
Yes, absolutely.
It really upsets me now.
Absolutely. Yes.
Especially in India.
Yes.
And
Yes.
the road, God is and so clean, everything is,
Yeah.
roads are so good.
Mhm.
And here, everywhere,
Yeah. So that's yours. So yes, write on that. So that sounds perfect for you. So why don't you write on that and just go within for a few minutes and just really contemplate. What is that thing that itches at your heart? It hurts. It just simply hurts. Do I need the microphone for the video? I think I do.
Yes.
For the video, yes. Yeah. I'm going to give you probably 5 minutes to do this process, so just go ahead and take a breath. And actually, let's all come together because there have been some distractions for me, so I'm the energy holder, so we all hold the energy together. So if I could just have everyone take a deep breath and release it. And another in your belly. And now ask yourself, what is that thing that hurts? What is that thing that causes me pain? Just write about that for yourself.
बहुत ज़्यादा है।
Again, we're writing, what is it that causes you pain or hurt in your heart? Just take a deep breath, contemplate, and I just want you to write to yourself about this. Oh, he wants to stand. Thank you. It can be anything. Any fear. And then as we wrap this up in about a minute, I'll ask you another question. He doesn't want me to say. Because he's
स्टैटिक है, उसमें स्टैटिक है।
Yes, I'm very magnetic. I think we all are. We're going to raise the vibration in here. I'm going to start dancing in a minute. So the next question I'd like you to contemplate again, let's all take that collective breath. Just like... And then one in your belly. And I want you to contemplate your community. Are you living in your best community? So for example, I met some women here at the conference who all swim together and have become perfect friends. And there are neighbors, there are loved ones. So in terms of your community, is there anything missing? For me, the spiritual center, I need that for my own well-being. I need my best girlfriends. And then there are activities. I need my hiking buddies. I need to be on the land. I need to be feeling the land. And I need to be with people who feel the land. And so I've built a really strong community for myself. So it's not just about geography. It's about who am I surrounding myself with to support me. Just take a few minutes to reflect on that, please. One more question for you, so let's just wrap that up. And my next question is, how do you like to serve? How do you love to serve? Do you love to cook for your family and it's a sacred experience for you? Do you love to hold people in prayer or consciousness? Do you love to make clothes? How do you like to serve? It doesn't have to be formal. Anything that brings you absolute joy. So let's just wrap that up. Is there anyone who needs more time? Raise your hand. Okay, good. So I know that's a little bit of time, yet it's really going to be the root of the work we're going to do. So I'm going to tell you a little bit of why I ask you these questions, yes? Okay with you? So I am what I call an American nomad. I've lived in many, many different places. Born in Maryland, then raised in Quantico, Virginia, by a military family, then very rural Missouri, a farm town. I had goats and cows in my front yard very, very often when I got out of the fencing. And then at 17, I moved to New York City as a runaway. And then eventually, 13 years later, I moved to Los Angeles, then Seattle. I lived in Spain for a little while. And then I found my way to Santa Fe, New Mexico, which is very, very beautiful now. It's a very beautiful land. And I say I've been looking for home this entire time. And because of my own family structure, my mother died when I was 3 years old. And it took me a long time for my father and I to connect and really fall in love with each other. I was looking for home, looking for my community. And I now live before I moved to Santa Fe, I lived in a town that just didn't work for me. I was doing really good work as an artist. I was getting some media attention, but I did some things that you would even think, should have gotten national press, because I had in other places. But this particular place just didn't recognize who I was, because I just didn't fit into the community. And I always knew that, but I was married, and it was where his family was, and so I chose to be there. So I moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico, and my whole world opened up. So not everyone is able to geographically move. However, each time I surrounded myself with different people. For example, when I was trying to have a child, I had a lot of families with children around me. And then when some of these friends found out that I couldn't have children, they released me. And it was painful in a lot of ways, because my divorce, my singleness, my childlessness made some people uncomfortable. And so each of these times, something like that would happen, my community would change. And I recognized that I actually can design that. I am in control of that, right? It doesn't have to happen to me. So I ask you these questions, just recognizing that sometimes we get into a comfort zone, and one of my teachers calls it the killing zone. So I actually spend every year doing something that terrifies me. I jumped out of airplanes, bungee jumped, I scuba dived with sharks. I do things that scare me to death, because then my everyday life just doesn't bug me. I just don't get rattled by stuff, because I throw myself off of cliffs and airplanes and
Nothing happened.
well, sheer joy, complete bliss. The two greatest moments in my life was the free fall from that airplane. I don't know if I'll ever do it again, but it was, I felt the hand of my God holding me down. It was incredible. And then scuba diving with sharks as well. I felt the hand of God like holding me. It was the buoyancy of my butt. I know what it was. And it felt like I was held in my belly. So they were the two greatest moments in my life. And yet they were the things that I never should have done, right? So in terms of contemplating this, I'd like you to really think about these questions. And if it's all right with you at this moment, I'd really like you to pair off with one other person. If this is an internal process for you and you don't want to share with someone else, then don't. Just do that work with yourself. But if you're willing to share with another, I find that sometimes I do my best processing with some stranger on an airplane. If I choose to talk to them, which I don't often do, but sometimes I can tell them my innermost secrets and learn so much from them. So we have an opportunity right now to do that if you're willing. Maybe choose someone from a different country that you think you may never see again. Or choose someone that you're sitting with that you just enjoy knowing. So if you'll take a moment and just share your answers with one another, I'd really appreciate it. Yes? Is there any, yeah, so feel free, yeah.
We can do this way, you know. We don't have to do one to the same.
Okay.
Do this way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So she walked out, so just guide her through what the question was. I'm sure she's been
And if there are three, then you just, the three of you share. And what I'd like you to do, if I could just have your attention real quickly, I'd like you to really practice active listening. So just, so what I'd like you to do is not ask the person questions, not, if you can do this, not really respond to them vocally, just listen. Because if we just listen without questioning, we're not diverting their thought process. Their thought process is exactly where it needs to go for them. If I ask you a question, then I'm taking you into my thought process, which is beautiful and wonderful, yet for this kind of sharing, I really like that. Total attention, deep clarity, just be support without veering them.
you not like that.
Thank you so much. Anyone else have anything to share?
So I shared with these two beautiful ladies here, and I realised that something happened when my daughter was born is actually still shaping what I do now. So when you look into the eyes of someone else and you see spirit, that inspires my work. And when someone else doesn't see that, there's this mama bear that comes out, and these two ladies, again, they nurture through food and cooking and love. And I realised that actually that's what drives my work, because we all deserve nurture and love, right? And I hadn't put something from 23 years ago together with, my mum always says to me, why do you keep doing what you're doing? Why are you so inspired? And I went, I don't know. And now I know.
Thank you. So it's interesting. I ask you to do this exercise because my next door neighbor has become one of my best friends. Her name's Carol. Hi, Carol Baker. CherryPieSocial.com. Anyway, she's very funny. She's always the greatest promoter. But she loves to cook for me, and I don't cook well at all. Thank you. Thank you, my beautiful timekeeper. Thank you. And so she loves to cook. And she was struggling with something, and every time she wanted to be fed emotionally, she would cook for me, which was really nice. She was a really good cook. And one day I said to her, why don't you cook for people for money? I mean, your heart, your soul. She says, this is church for me. I'm cooking my heart, my soul into my food. And do you know the next day after she decided to start cooking for others, she literally started being a personal chef for not just me, but for many other people. She got 2 clients, 3 clients in the first week. So it can be the most simple thing, right? It can be, and we're all speakers or out on a platform. And so in terms of nurturing that platform, maybe there's a mama bear talk in there. Maybe there's something in that. And I bring this up because for me, infertility was not something I would choose. And this project, theemptywomb.com, is an extraordinary project that I get to serve and I'm really grateful for. But I'd trade it for a baby. Any day. Any day. So one of my greatest pains is, gosh darn it, that I don't get to be a natural mother. And it was an existential trauma for me because reptiles reproduce. There have been hundreds, if not thousands, of females before me that made this being, this thing, this meat sack standing in front of you. And yet, I'm the failure, biologically. What the is wrong with me? Reptiles can reproduce and I can't. And then I realized this intimate thing that is my journey kind of chose me so that I could serve all the women out there who have the same or a similar experience, a similar wound. And so what we often know and hear is we teach what we need to learn the most. My mother died when I was 3 years old. I don't get to be a mother. What do I do? My friends tell me I'm their best mother. And so I think with these invisible tattoos on my arms, this one says, how can I serve today? And this one says, my love is stronger than your fear. And that's how I love the world. And I think that's a mother thing. You know, if you have a 5-year-old throwing a temper tantrum on the floor, screaming and kicking, what do? You go kick him in the ribs? No. You summon this mother bear, furious love, the warrior love, the one that saves countries, the one that saves the world. And you summon that, and you love that little being that's throwing the temper tantrum, and then it stops, right? So essentially, that's what I want to connect in you, is that
It could be the simplest, sweetest thing. And yet it could be your greatest gift in the world. It could be from your greatest pain. And you just alchemize that and make it into magic to heal our beloved sisters and men, right? Loving our men too. So that's why I had you do that. Thank you so much for being so generous to participate in that and to share. I really appreciate that. And let me see.
We also really enjoyed this.
Thank you. I'm glad. Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. I'm so grateful to Dr. Hardeen for allowing me to come and be here with you. I just get so fed. My heart gets so full. And if you'd like to know more about theemptywomb.com and my work, Firestone, my cards are all in front of you. And if you know someone who's actually struggling with infertility, please be a testimony to them and hand them my card, give them my information, share it on Facebook message, whatever you feel like. Again, it's not about me. I'm grateful that I get to enjoy the benefits of meeting you all and staying in a beautiful hotel and all these wonderful things that this project gives to me. Yet it's really about serving women who experience miscarriage, child loss, infertility, in vitro, so that we can all come together and heal each other. The last thing I'll say is infertility is extraordinarily isolating, because no matter how loving and beautiful and wonderful you are, if you have children and you give me all that love, it's most likely when I'm going through that infertility that I'm really rage-filled about you having children and me not. No matter how much I love you and you love me, you are never going to understand what it feels like to not be able to have a child, to grow that life, to welcome that being, to have that partnership. And so the greatest love you can do is really help just be present and help that person find resources that are like-minded in that moment to be loving and supportive, so that they'll heal and they'll come back together. One of my best friends has twins, beautiful twin boys, 13. She did in vitro and was successful. And I had to call her one day and say, I love you, Angela. I love you, Angela, so much. And I can't be around you and your family right now. I'm so angry and so jealous. And I don't want to project that into your family. Please forgive me. I need to take a break. And she, being the incredible, beautiful, amazing woman she is, understood and would just send me, I love you. I love you. I love you. I'm here for you whenever you're ready. I love you. And then one day I called her and I said, I need to see you. I need to apologize to you in person. She said, there's nothing to apologize about. Just come. Let me love you. And then, so that's my heart's message to you. Thank you for spending this time with me. You're all so beautiful. Blessings. Namaste.
Thank you, thank you for so much information. So, yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for keeping the space beautiful. Thank you.
Can I have a group picture?
Yeah, we should have a group picture.
Oh, yes, group picture.
Where is the photographer?
And by the way, this woman, if you have an opportunity to see her speak,
Yes.
remind me of your name.
Phionah.
Musumba. If you have an opportunity to see Musumba speak, she is so powerful. Her talk is magnificent. I I wept. I cried. I learned so much from you yesterday. Thank you. So I'm going to bring her to US and figure out something we can do together. Very, very powerful woman.
बाहर बुलाना पड़ेगा।
कहाँ से बुला दोगे?
कहाँ से बुलाना है? एक मिनट बुला लो, लेट हो जाएगा। आगे। अच्छा, फोटोग्राफी तुम्हारे कर देगा।
ये लो, इसका भी नंबर लगा दो। एक मिनट वेट कराना, जब तुम्हारा हो जाए इधर वेट कराना। कनेक्टेड।
Come on, Chani. So good being a woman. I love it. Yeah.
वेट कराना।
Turtle.
10 मिनट
I'll teach you all my Hollywood tricks. You don't know it already.
पीछे होके लेना भैया फोन पे। फोन पीछे आ जाओ।
Collage. Turtle. I'll teach you all the turtle thing. It's a Hollywood thing. Okay. Thank you. Love you. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Yes.
एक्सक्यूज मी खत्म। नेक्स्ट सेशन आपका है।
Yes, of course.
इसमें ना मैंने बोला तो है स्पीकर वाले को सुनीता राजी नहीं 3 बार आया था
बोला
3 बार बोला मैंने
ठीक है चलने दो
3 बार बोला भैया मैंने उसको
ठीक है तो अपना कोई फूल नहीं है
इतना ही कर सकता हूँ
सही है इतना गुस्सा क्यों हो रहा है
अरे नहीं वो गुस्सा करते हैं ना उधर से
कौन
वो देखिए बैठा हुआ है गुल में
जो लाइव हो गया
अच्छा जी अच्छी बात है ना सुन तो लेगा वो Just wait. Wait. कैसे करना मुआनी मानी कैसा
everyone. I'm Nitzan. I come here from Israel, and I will try to be also moderating this session today. And I think because our subject is such a broad spectrum of subject, hello, welcome. It will be really interesting to have each one's perspective about what we're doing here. So it will be a very big range of subjects, but it all relates to some of the most powerful and most significant topic today is the online media, that it's just all around us. So the topic is the power of an online platform in business globalization. And I think each one of us will introduce herself. So I'm Nitzan. I'm a chemical engineer in my profession. I established a startup company called Living Box. We will discuss it pretty soon. And please let's hear the rest.
Good morning. My name is Cordelia Gona from Zimbabwe. I'm a digital marketing architect at GBI, which is Global Business Innovation.
Hello, my name is Yasmina Azhari. I'm a Syrian businesswoman living in Dubai. And I am owning and running, I'm managing partner of Allianz International. We are doing commercial brokers in Dubai. I'll tell you a story about it.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ebun Feludu. I run Flood Media, which is a content creative agency based out of Lagos, Nigeria. And I always say to people, my three biggest passions are women, content, and enterprise. So I will be talking today, and I've given this same workshop several times with different women's groups in Nigeria. So I'm talking today about curating your online presence, because the new reality is that our reality is very virtual. So I never sent this photo to them at WEF. They just found it in my digital footprint online. So I'm going to be talking today about deliberately creating the personal brand, the corporate brand that you desire that will deliver the best results for your life and for your business.
So we're going to do a 10 minutes session for each speaker, and we're going to start with you, Ebun. So here we go.
Yeah, I'm hoping I can do this in 10 minutes. It's a pretty long slide, but I'm going to move the screen here so you can all see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my slide is. Yes, that's like I said. I've given this workshop several times with different women's groups in Nigeria. Enterprise is a really big deal in Nigeria, because, especially for women, and I say this to women because what you leave in the universe is your legacy, and one of them is your children. And I'm under so much pressure myself to sort of keep reinventing myself to be the best version of myself that I can be, because that is what I pass on to my children as a platform or foundation for them to build upon. So what I love about entrepreneurship, and I'm a serial entrepreneur, admittedly, is that it gives you the flexibility to also focus on your children and just sort of have the time to nurture them, in the way that you want. Not that entrepreneurship is easy or that you don't have long hours, but that's just the reality. You're a lot more flexible. So giving this workshop to women just sort of helps them to design that life for themselves and for their businesses that is intentional, and it is in tune with current realities, which is that the virtual world is the new reality. It's, everything that we leave of ourselves in a digital footprint is what everyone else in the world knows us. So this slide just sort of helps us to be intentional about how we create our personal brand or our corporate brands. So what we do at Plug Media is essentially create content, whether it's an event that helps women to connect with other women, or it is articles that advance women, or documentaries that sort of open their eyes, or so it's online content creation is what we do. So this is basically about making your life into the online content that will best serve you. The big question is how much time, and this is very interactive. That's why I say I don't know if I can do 10 minutes. But how much time do you think you spend on the internet every day? Let's just wager a guess. How much time? 1 hour? Okay. 10?
Almost all day.
Yeah.
At intervals.
If I wasn't online, I would not have been able to remind all my friends today that about this presentation. So we all spend a lot of time on. When you're on WhatsApp, trust me, you're on. Okay? Yes. It doesn't have to. It can be getting on the internet or on a website. Whatever. You're online. You're communicating. So you spend a lot of time on the internet, and you're leaving a digital footprint. You're leaving your thoughts. You're leaving your thoughts. You're leaving your mind, you're leaving your attention, you're leaving a track record of who you are on the internet. Next slide. Okay, so this is a big deal, because I remember back when I started my career, I worked at an online magazine. This was back in 2002, and it was well ahead of its time. It was an online magazine, and we didn't have a lot of internet. But now, the internet is a basic human right. The United Nations has declared that the internet is a basic human right, and the United Nations Human Rights Council passed a non-binding resolution in June 2016 that condemns countries that intentionally take away or disrupt citizens' rights to have access to the internet. So there are a few countries like China and India, maybe a few countries that are opposed to this resolution. regardless, if we ignore the internet, it will really be at our own peril. So let's just sort of keep that as a baseline. So away from the internet, I was struggling with this because I stopped using Windows. So I was struggling with that device. But away from the internet, how much time do we spend on our phones every day? As long as we're awake. Yes? Anyone else? How much time do you spend on your phone every day? Okay.
Sometimes when they are sleeping and we are waiting for an email, so I wake up and just
So we're always connected, right? We're always on, all right, as long as our phones are on. So it's amazing. For me, if I don't switch off my phone, I don't really sleep properly. There's a part of my head that's still sort of on if I don't switch off my phone. So we're kind of always on, aren't we? So research has found that we check our phones about 150 times a day. And this is, I think this is old research. I think it's a lot more now. I think it's a lot more now. So this is how much time that we are connected to this device. This is like our third arm now, and a little half of our brain, this little device here. So the big question is, what are we doing on the internet? What are we doing? You know? Are we thinking about what we're doing? We're not really. You know, when you wake up and you breathe, you're not thinking, oh, I need to breathe now. Yeah, that's what it's become. It's become second nature. Using the phone and getting connected on the internet has become second nature to us, as breathing is. So whether we're watching videos, or we're viewing photos, or we're reading articles, or we're chatting on WhatsApp, all of that is we're consuming content, right? And this is content that some people have sort of put out there deliberately. I heard someone say last week or so that if you want somebody to buy a product, show them a 60-second advert, and they'll buy a product. And if you want to change a lifestyle, show them a 60-minute video. So all of this content, some people somewhere are creating the content to kind of control us. Yeah? Okay, next slide. Okay, so the internet is king, and and content is queen, and together they rule the digital highway. And this is why it is absolutely important that we are really intentional and switched on about the time we spend, the things we consume, and the things that we hear on the internet. So old media versus new media. When I started my career, we were doing more of content for newspapers and TV and radio and things like that. So back in the day, producers of content were the media houses, right? So the newspaper houses, the TV stations. But today, all of us are media houses. Every single day, we take a photo, we put it up on the digital highway, we're producing content. What is interesting is, back when I started my career, everyone who sort of needed us as magazines or whatever, they sort of worshipped us, oh, we need you, oh, we need our content on your page. Now, it is anyone who has a following is competition to the magazines. So a celebrity has a following of 1 million people, they are competition to the magazines. Because 1 million people are following them and listening to them, and they can say, oh, look at this amazing toothpaste I used today. If you want it, follow this person. So they are producing content, and people are listening to them, and they have influence, right? So every single one of us has the power to control, right? Has the power to have a following, basically. Next slide. So what was old media? The old way of media has completely changed because the internet has given everybody power to own a media house. So right here in your pocket, you have a platform. You have a magazine. So the world population is estimated to be 7.5 billion people. In Nigeria, the current population is recorded to be about 188 million. And of this number, approximately 2 billion internet users use social media. Okay, and each of these users is producing content, right? Each of these 2 billion people, they're producing content. So, okay, next slide. So there's a lot of content out there, right? So this is why it's really important for us to reflect on how much time we spend on our phones and the internet and virtual reality. And if we think for a second that, I'm not into Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, and I'm not into it's pretty suicidal, because that is the new reality.
Excuse me.
That is the new it's the new reality, basically. The virtual space is where it all happens, because you spend all that time on the internet, and you're leaving your thoughts and your mind and your intention and your interests. You're leaving it all there. So it's not just my conversation with you that will tell me what's in your mind. It's all out there in your digital footprint. So you're creating content as well. So I want to play a little game here, and I do this all the time by him. And so what this is we're thinking now about the content that we create and the impact that we're making in the world, right? And I want to play a little game. Let's go to the next slide. When you hear certain names, certain images come to your mind, right? So what picture comes to mind when you hear these names? When you hear Michelle, who comes to mind? Obama. Michelle Obama. Voila. So even though there are, 7.9 billion people in the world, and I imagine thousands and thousands of Michelles, when I say Michelle, I am, and this I do all over the world. When I say Michelle, everyone in the world says Michelle Obama. So this woman has seized that name, she has seized your mind, and she has she has a strong foot. You've never met her, you've never been in the same space with her, you've never had a conversation with her. But when you hear Michelle, this is the woman who comes to mind, regardless of the thousands and thousands of Michelles that are out there in the world. Next time. When you hear Mohammed, who comes to mind? Mohammed Ali comes to mind. This is because he's made a strong indent in our minds because of the reputation that he's built for himself. Same for Michelle, same for Mohammed. Next slide. When you hear Kim, who comes to mind? This is who comes to mind. And this is so true. None of us has ever spent time with her one-on-one, I imagine. But we just know this. When we hear this name, this is who comes to mind. Next slide. Aisha. Back in Nigeria, when you say Aisha, you say Aisha Buhari, because I'm the president. I am Aisha. You're Aisha. So this is the wife of our president back in Nigeria, Aisha Buhari. So when we do this in Nigeria, this is what everyone says, because now she's sort of taking up space in our minds. Next slide. You think Donald? You sure not Donald Duck? Yeah. Next slide. I think I did a few. Omotola, now this is a famous actor back home in Nigeria. That's Omotola Jalade. So you see now that in this space, no one knows who she is. But back home, in our space, she's... I know. You do. Oh, there you go. You know who she is. She seized our minds. So there's no other Michelle. There's no other Kim. There's no other Omotola. And Bill. Clinton. Next slide. Mark Zuckerberg. Yeah, he takes a lot of our time, doesn't he? Next slide. Funke. No. This is a super famous comedian back home. Super famous, super successful. Funke. Next slide. Tendulkar. Correct. Now this is a really big country. How many thousands of Sachins do you think there are in India? Okay, next slide. Phionah? Yeah, correct. Okay. Correct? Yeah. Okay, so this is it. So my challenge to us here is to ensure that we create a digital footprint and also seize mind share in terms of curating our online presence so that we seize minds. Now, it's not everybody can make information. Let's go to the next slide. I think we need to, backward. So what's more important than the picture really is the personal brand of these names that were mentioned. So we've never met them, we've never sold anything with them, but we've bought their brand hook, line, and sinker because they are they're very strong personality brands. Next slide. So much that they've taken total ownership of that name. Nobody else, when you say a Donald in a place like this, it's Donald Trump that comes to mind. When you hear Michelle, even though there are thousands of Michelles all around the world who bear that name, they all sort of cease to be for a moment, right? And there's only one Michelle. So not all of us can be worldwide celebrities, but we can all own a unique story that is our personal brand and nobody else can compete with. So back in my country, one of my dear friends, we're birthday mates, she was my maid of honor, she's my son's godmother, and she's a photographer. And she's got a very unique story, right? She's a female photographer, and she loves God. She loves God, and she also makes amazing music. And there's nobody else, probably on the universe, that has that unique combination of gifts, of attributes. So she takes every single thing that is hers, that is uniquely hers, and she puts it together to make a story and a brand that is, is non-contestable. So if I say Tony photographs, T.Y. Bello comes to mind. Okay? So for me, and I had to sort of take a bit of time to sort of find what I'm passionate about. And I've always known I'm passionate about women. So when Robbi reached out to me, I said to her, look, I'm going to bring women here from Nigeria, and these are my three great passions. Women, content that will activate and change people's lives, and enterprise. For me, freedom for women really means being able to earn, right? So if you're in a bad situation, you can step aside because you're not afraid that you don't have the next meal, right? I remember growing up, they used to say, oh, you have the F off money, right? If you go out on a date. So if you go out on a date and a guy is sort of messing up, you have your taxi money and you can just sort of take a cab and walk away. And it should be the same for everyone. That's why those three things are key to me. So when I position myself online, I'm deliberate, right? These are the things that I love. I love women and their progress. I love enterprise, and I'm very key about content. And me, Ebun, Feludu, and all those things are connected to me, and it's very hard to find another woman who has all of those key things. So when I'm speaking online, or I'm doing anything, or I'm leaving my digital footprint, I'm making sure that those are the things, those things that are passionate to me, are true to me, those are the things that I'm delivering in my digital footprint. Because I'm all the way in Lagos, and somebody's in Israel, and the only way they'll know who I am, what's in my mind, is what they find on the internet. And if I'm not deliberate, if for instance one day I'm talking about, rugby, this is my passion, and another day I'm talking about, trains are my passion, it's confusing. But if you're deliberate, and you're sort of building that funnel of thought for people with your name and your intentions and your passions, then anywhere in the world you're known for this brand. And it reverberates and resonates with the people to whom it's important. I'm almost done here. So this is the exercise, basically, and we're going to have to rush through this. So you have to define what your passion is, and I've said my passion, women, content, enterprise. Discover what your values are, because your values also add to your personal brand and your personal brand story. Create your own unique, personal, authentic story around your service offerings, what your interests are, and all of that. Next slide, please. And in the world of advertising, we don't sell anymore, we storify, right? In today's world. So carve a niche for yourself, create your own authentic brand story, and find your tribe, okay? Find your tribe. People who share your values, people who can support you, along your path, and together reverberate. I'm so deliberate that if I feel that someone's personal brand doesn't align with mine, I won't really allow a selfie. That's how deliberate I am. Because I feel like, okay, I need to sort of think about it in time conversation. I need to know for certain, because this sort of selfie is going to go out on the web, and somewhere, somehow, someone might go, what is that connection? You know what I mean? So that's how deliberate I am about, my digital footprint. So ensure when you have that brand story, ensure your staff, your events, your wardrobe, your photos, your selfies, your words are in sync with your authentic brand story. And translate that story, into corporate, whether you're doing social enterprise, whether you're doing a business, whatever it is you're doing, translate that story into your corporate identity and the footprint that you leave online and on our social media. Yeah, so your social media, your complimentary cards, so everything that you have on there, you guys can, it's so funny in Nigeria now. Events are such a big thing, and before you hire a photographer or anyone, you just go to their Instagram page, and that's where nobody goes to websites. It's the Instagram or there's, so that's where, so you just really have to be intentional, right? Because this is where people are making decisions about whether or not to engage with you or buy your service or your goods or whatever. So that's questions, but no. We'll
Yeah.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting. Thank you very much. Actually, I find it really relevant. Also for me today, when I'm pretty new entrepreneur, and every time I get to a new meeting, it's like I arrived and already the research was done, and I get all the responses that I have from the online media, and it's really important to be able to show what you have. I think the authenticity of what you show is the most important thing, because this is your uniqueness in a way. So that was really inspiring to hear you say that. And also a story that I'm sharing here a room with one woman from Canada. So as she arrived to the room, she told me, I'm really excited to meet you. I couldn't resist, and I was Googling you over, and I'm really excited about your project. So it's really amazing to see how people really can learn everything about you before they even get to meet you. So it's really interesting, the thought to hold on to. Before I tell you a little bit about what I'm doing, I would like to start with telling you a bit about how I see the future today. So we all pretty much still in the Industrial Revolution that started many years ago, but something really new is happening these days. There is kind of a shift, and we can see it definitely starting from the digital world. For example, YouTube and Kickstart enables people to become from nothing to everything. For example, Justin Bieber, it's an amazing example for someone that wasn't known in any other reasonable way, and one day he uploaded a video and it got him to where he is today. So the possibilities are just amazing. And from the digital world, there is another thing that is starting to occur. If you heard about the digital printing, for example. So now we're starting to have the ability to produce our own products, physical products, everywhere. So this is something that is happening these days, and I'm going to talk about it in a different perspective. And this is what we're doing in a little bit different way to give yourself the right to go back and produce your own food. So I will start from the need, which is pretty known for today, that one of our biggest challenges in the world is food. And actually not because we don't have enough food in the world. If we calculate all the food that we have in the world, we know that we have actually enough food to feed everyone. So what is the problem? The problem is the spreadability of it. In the States, 40% of the food is going to waste. And in Africa, people are starving. So this dissonance between those countries, this is the gap that we are trying to find a way On the other hand, there is another problem. The soil is pretty contaminated. We know also in India there are many problems with pesticides used and quality of the water, and the water going to the soil, and the soil is being contaminated. And wherever we grow pesticides and chemical directly to our body, and of course it affects us in a really substantial way. So we are here trying to create suitable solutions to create challenges that we are facing today. And another important thing to remember is that urbanization is occurring all over the world. So the predictions that until 2050, more than 70% of the world will live in cities. So we just don't have the soil. Where will we grow our food? So this is a big challenge. We see also the trend in the market. People are aware of those problems, starting to consume organic food. Organic food is kind of a buzzword today in the world, and when we learn more about it, we can understand that it's not completely accurate, and sometimes organic is not really organic. And if you will ask me how I see organic is to the farmer that grows in the soil by himself for his own local use. Commercial organic won't be real organic, as I see it. So organic is really wide today, and there are so many different regulations about it. For example, I know that in Israel, it's allowed to use anti-fungus materials like copper. I didn't know that copper is organic. So again, the regulation is really big, and you should really learn the small details when you're consuming your food. It's very important. And so from that need, me and my partner, we decided that we can definitely find new alternatives to bring to the table, to the home use, to the family, some more control and independency. And actually, it's pretty easy, and it's really out there, and it has been here for more than 3,000 years ago. People were growing in different techniques. So we kind of learned those techniques, and we thought about a way to bring it all to the home use. And to do so, we need three most important things. Please. We will need it to be as simple as possible. It means much more simple than anything that we knew for today. We don't want to be specialists in agriculture. We don't have the time to be specialists today. We want something easy that it will be accessible. Another thing is affordability. It has to be affordable so we can all enjoy it, and it will be accessible for all. We don't want it to be only for a niche. We want it to be accessible for everyone. And the third and most important thing is that it can be that it will have mobility. Our solution falls into a small box, and it can be shipped everywhere. So the knowledge and technology is accessible everywhere. And everywhere, again, because it's not connected to the soil, it can be also on the rooftop of your building, it can be on your balcony, it can be in the middle of the desert. So this is what created Living Box. It's a full standalone solution to enable you to grow your own vegetables based only on water. So what do you need to do? I assemble it, I add water, you add the special capsule that we designed, and you forget about the system. After 3 weeks, you get the ability to get a full big bowl of salad every day for the rest of the time. It's a perpetual cycle, and it keeps on moving the whole time. So it's something that sounds very revolutionary, but it's still very down to earth. It's really here. So this is what I would like to let you guys live with, this note that it's really available. We need to know that things, we can grow our own food everywhere, and it's easy. And it's not only about our system, it's about the ability to do so, the ability to be independent again, to control what to eat, to be able to be free, all of that. So as I told you, it's a real thing. It's not something that will be a gimmick. It will enable you to grow a big bowl of salad every day, and it's around $40 for a month for a family, which is also very huge.
Sorry, can you repeat that? How much?
$40 worth of produce every month. This is something real. This will, I think we will work for that time. Okay, so this where the online meets us and how we are connected and why do we need to be connected. So if it was the old days, yeah, we had our own modern garden or kind of a garden, and it will all be enough. But as for today, we understand that in order to become scalable and to bring up the awareness and to be able to do the most important thing about online is the ability to share the knowledge, to share what we do. So we created a full connectivity with an online application that we just published now in the mobile conference in Barcelona. It was quite interesting. This conference was very, very interesting. And the buzzword over there, maybe you heard about it, it's called IoT, Internet of Things. So how do we connect the whole things with the internet? And this is, I think, the most substantial thing that I would like to bring here to this session here, talking about online. So, of course, yeah, we have amazing tools out there, and each one of us brings a completely different aspect, but regarding the IoT, it's a huge tool to ensure two things. Firstly, it's about the customer service. How do I support the people that are using my tool? And the second thing, which is actually the most important in the big scale, is data, as you said in a way. So I came up 1 month ago from an entrepreneur congress in South Africa. It was quite interesting. And one sentence over there that I will not forget, that data is the new oil. That's where all money goes to. And why? The commercials, because we all want to know what people do in their time. Where do they spend their money? And over here, with this online application, we can have an amazing opportunity to get so much data that will be very relevant. For example, about people consumption. What do they eat? What do they like to eat? How did they grow in specific areas? And as soon as we will have more and more people connected, we will have more and more relevant data, which can be huge amounts of business. So this is where we are going with what we're doing here. So we're starting with a tool, but then we understand that the horizon of it is much more wide when we look at the future. A little bit about the impact. I would like to really say that what we're doing is a financial company, but definitely is a social impact relevant node. With enabling people to grow, you really support the environment. And I think today it's a very important thing to know. Okay, I think we can cast that. It's about a different, and that will be the last one. So I'll tell you a little bit where we are today. We already managed to finish our beta sites. It means we're testing our systems pretty much around the world. We have in Israel, we're going in the middle of the city and in the middle of the desert with a gypsy community. We are having systems in Barcelona, in New York, in Nigeria. We have systems, 2 systems. Actually, there is a very interesting project to support disabled people, because it's a very easy way to grow. Everyone can do it, also disabled people, and we can empower so many different populations. And also in the Fiji Islands. Why the Fiji Islands? Because over there after a hurricane, one lettuce costs $10. So it's crazy. And again, it can be done everywhere. So thank you very much for your time.
Good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Cordelia Gona. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm a digital marketing architect, and I work for a company called GBI, which is Global Business Innovations. The company is divided into three main parts, so it has a very unique ecosystem. It has GBI, the main part which works with global business roadshows, and then it has Dominion Innovative Creations, which is the department I work in, which does brand activation and digital marketing. And then it has a hub for innovative technopreneurs that we have in Zimbabwe. And so I'm here to talk about the power of online platforms in business globalization. The world has become one global village, and it is of paramount importance to be able to recognize the importance of taking and scaling up your business on a global level. The problem that many people face is, how do I do this? And one way that is cost efficient is online platforms, whether it's via websites, social media, different types of applications. You are able to reach more customers online. Because of the time, I'm going to narrow in on tapping into the diaspora market. Zimbabwe is a very small country, and we realize that we have a lot of people who are in the diaspora. Most Zimbabweans are found in the UK, USA, Australia, South Africa. And we realize that we are actually able to help businesses scale from Zimbabwe, scale into other countries all over the world by tapping into the warm market which is there already, which are your diasporans. And so what we have done is that we conduct global roadshows, whereby we take products from our country and we go market them in other markets around the world. And normally people, diasporans in those countries, then sign up for those products. For example, a person may have a relative who's in the United States, and in Zimbabwe, due to the economy and other variables, that person is not able to buy funeral insurance. But the person in the diaspora is able to do that for them. So what we do is we connect the diaspora and the person living in Zimbabwe. And so this kind of platform can be replicated almost in every country. I'm sure even here in India, you've got Indians all over the world. But is your business tapping into those markets? Why not? You already have a warm market there for you. And so we have, as you can see on the screen, that's our next roadshow that we're having, North America Roadshow, August to September. So we have video. Okay, sorry. Okay, all right. Thank you. So that video was from the launch that we did of our first roadshow that we managed to do. Why should you think globally? You'll be able to generate more revenue for your business because you're not limited to just a certain number of people. Basically, the world becomes your marketplace. We're able to engage with new customers. We're also able to, through data collection, be able to give you back feedback on how maybe you can also improve your product. And you end up having a product that has got relevance on an international stage. With e-commerce, global shipping, and various payment options, there's no reason why you cannot scale up your business onto a global level. And so at GPI, we're here to help you to be able to do that, and we believe that we have the right skills that you need to be able to take your business onto a global level. Thank you. Would like to welcome the next speaker.
Yasmina. Hello. Yes. I will make it short. Okay, my name is Yasmina Azhari. I'm coming from Syria. I'm originally a Syrian businesswoman. My mother is from Serbia. My father is from Syria. I used to be a well-known businesswoman in Syria, as I was 3 times nominated by Forbes among the 50 strongest businesswomen in the Arab world. I was nominated by Ernst & Young as the best entrepreneur in Syria 2011. We used to do shipping. We were nurse ship agents in Syria. It's a family business. Then I saw, beginning 2011, that I grown up enough. I have 2 children. I have to find my own way. So I moved to rural area of Damascus. I rented a big investment. It was a huge mall and 3 supermarkets. I signed the contract at the beginning of March 2011, and the war started in Syria 15th of March 2011. Means 15 days after I entered into a huge investment. So after a few months, I found myself left with no investment, with a big loan from the bank, and in the middle of civil war. It was fine with me. I went back to Latakia. It's my hometown. And I really wanted to stay in Syria, but you know, when it's a civil war, then you have bad people who are willing to kidnap you, so I was blackmailed. I started paying small amounts, and they gave me 12 hours, they asked for $50,000, so I had to run away to leave the country, and I went to Dubai. So Dubai was the best place I could think about, as I'm holding a Serbian passport, so I could get easily a residency permit. But I felt uprooted, you know. I was 50, and I mean, it was time to go to retirement. I mean, it was not at all the time to start thinking what kind of a new business I can do now in my life. But I had to do it, and I had to face it. I was left without money, and I was really in big trouble. I spent 2 years crying, falling down, children taking me to hospital, not knowing what to do. I felt uprooted. I felt as if I was, Alice Alice in, how do you call it in English? In Wonderland. Alice in Wonderland, you know. I was looking in Dubai, in all those huge buildings. I don't belong here. I had to sell my 2 offices in Syria, to rent my house, to sell my house in Serbia. You know, I had to live and to pay back my huge loan. After 2 years, I thought, so, okay, I'm in Dubai, I'm left with no money, but I have to do something. So I called Dr. Aisha, she's my old friend since ever. And I told her, Doctor, I have to work, you know, I will die if I don't do anything. I started working since I was 17. Now I cannot sit and doing nothing. She told me, I am your partner. Do whatever you want. I am here because I need a local partner, and she is my friend, and she was really holding my hand with a lot of care and love. She told me, I'm your partner. I told her, no, Doctor, I'm out of money. I mean, even if you give me half of what I need, let us do something. Give me all your business cards that you collected during all your business life. I called my office in Latakia. I told them, send me all my business cards that I collected, and I established a network. So I always say that networking and these platforms, we have a big network. We have more than 7,000 parties all around the world. All are almost trustful, and I know almost all of them. And we have a big list of projects. We have investments, we have investors, and we are doing the commercial broker business. So what I say now, we are going globally because the 7,000 companies that we have are spread all around the world. projects that we have, almost 200 projects promoted through our office, are from around the world. So it's not a platform, but it's something like platform. I mean, we are not doing it only for the United Arab Emirates, but we went globally. So I told them that I want to talk into this session because I feel that everybody should know, first of all, that we have to overcome any trouble that we face in our life. I always say try and fail, but never fail to try. I always say that we have to find a way to get out, to find solutions, to get out of the best of the wars that we are facing in our life. We have to stand up, to believe in what we are, and to achieve our goals. And believe me that we can always do it. And I like to conclude, I'm sorry, but I like to say always that a woman is like a tea bag. You can never know how strong she is until she is put in hot water. And believe me that I was put in boiling water. Thank you.
That sounds very interesting, the platform. And I would like to know how do you do the business model for this kind of platform? What make it sustainable for a long time?
I hope it will be for a long time because we started our company almost 3 years ago. But it's growing, the network is growing and the projects that we are receiving are growing. And I'm sending only one newsletter to my network. So I'm adding people to my network and there is, you unsubscribe if you are not willing to receive it any further. So very few persons are really unsubscribing, but I'm always receiving new people who are interested. I'm receiving new projects. And I think it will last. I mean, as long as we have these connections, as long as the connections are growing, the network is growing, projects that we are receiving are growing, investors are coming to us, I think it's going to last. I hope. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. Thank you so much.
العافية. أنا كثير يعني تفاجأت أنا بسيدة أعمال طبعا من سوريا قدرت تثبت نفسها في دبي، لأن دبي هي بلد كثير منفتحة وكثير فيها رجال أعمال وكثير فيها ثقافات وكثير فيها أجناس. فأنا كثير بحيّة للدكتورة ياسمين على هي يعني النقلة النوعية اللي قدرت تثبت نفسها في هذا البلد، لأني أنا أعيش في دبي وأعرف حتى ابني مستثمر في دبي وزوجي، فأنا أعيش في هذه البلد وأعرف قديش يعني إثبات النفس في هذا البلد شغلة كثير عظيمة. فأنا أحيي السيدة سورية لأني أنا سورية مثلها. شكرا كثير.
I didn't know that lady is attending the conference, but she is originally from Syria and she is living in Dubai. But we didn't know that we are attending. She says that she congratulates me because I was able to stand in a city like Dubai, because really Dubai is full of sharks and all kinds of businesses. Whatever you think to do in Dubai, there is thousands doing the same thing. So you have to be innovative, to have something really different, to add value to business already existing in Dubai, so that you can stand up and continue living. And thank you for the compliment. We are done? Okay, thank you so much.
So can we get a group You mean there was no time to make comments? Comments? If you do have comments, yes, let's take them. Let's take comments.
Wait.
I'm sorry, I've been
Back.
I've been tweeting everything you guys are saying.
Would you like to come to say a few words?
Oh, sure. Okay, fine. I'm just going to say. Well, thank you. This is really exciting. We had different perspectives, and I'm very thrilled. As I said, I'm from Senegal. I'm from actually Guinea, but I live in Senegal, and I came in just when Ebun was speaking. Oh. I'm speaking to you guys. So anyway, I find it interesting, and especially I want to highlight Nigeria because I'm going to be there next week. I work for an organization and work on campaigning. And Nigeria has amazing power in terms of numbers, in terms of social media, and when you're doing advocacy, and even in terms of market for the continent. And I think that it's not enough said, but for us, what we're doing is we want to train women in the informal sector who don't have necessarily not only the logistics, the time, the finances to own a store or to go, and do all the administrative that you need to do to be formalized, but the internet allows for women in the informal sector to, exist somewhere virtually, and also to be able to, be more productive in terms of many things, ordering, blah, 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 even sharing space so they can have like a frontline stores, etc. So we want to hear more of such, successes and stories that you have shared and, and translated and adapted to our realities. Because in our countries as well, there's a lot of women who don't have access to internet, and I'm not sure if anyone covered it. Yeah. But there's ways to go around, as we all know, there's ways to go around that, because we live in these societies. So I won't say much, but I was really inspired by everyone, and about the good work. Thank you.
Don't have too much to speak. Basically, I wanted to applaud the four of you. I think I was really amazed that all of you come from very difficult history. Your countries have probably had the most difficult history versus anyone else around the world. And the four of you have really grown. You've come all the way to encourage everyone else from around the world in this country, and you've educated yourself, you've thought of businesses, you've excelled at it. I think it's really commendable, and many, many congratulations to the four of you. You really are stars for all of us, and I think I will really remember the four of you to the rest of my life as during my tough times. So yeah, I think, thank you.
We feel flattered. It's true. Any other questions? We're just inspired.
So can we take some photos? Is there any
नहीं आपका होगा एक से दो कैसा होगा इनको बताओ भैया इनमें ग्रुप फोटो ये निकाल दो हो गया ना ग्रुप लेना